Hello, everybody. This is Dr. John Shokoff from All Pets Veterinary Home Care. You can check out our practice at allpetsny.com and sign up for our newsletter there. Get everything you'd like to know about us and your pet's health. Today, we're going to talk about joint supplements for dogs. And so, the first question, obviously, is what are joint supplements? Technically, a supplement is something that is given in addition to your pet's regular diet. It's not something he or she necessarily needs to live, but it's something that can help a particular system function more appropriately. In this case, the musculoskeletal system and the joints. There are diets that have the ingredients of joint supplements in them, but these are really nothing more than a marketing fad, a way to make more money off of the diet. The ingredients that would help the joints are in such small amounts within these diets that your pet would have to eat 20 to 50 cups of these different foods each day to get the same level of ingredients that he or she would get with just one dose of your average supplement. So because they're more expensive, these diets, you're better off taking that extra money and getting your pet a nice high quality diet and then a separate joint supplement that can really help with his or her joints. And when you choose your joint supplement, there are different forms. There are capsules, there's chewables, both hard chews and soft chews. There are granules or powders, and there are liquids. And you're going to make your decision not only based upon what your pet enjoys taste-wise and what he or she can handle without any stomach upset or any problems, but also considering your ease of administration. It's a lot easier to pop your pet a soft chew once a day than it is to measure out liquids and powders and mix it all in and go through that. So everybody's different. Some people swear by the liquids and powders and think that helps their pet better, or the pet will only eat those. That's okay. That's totally up to you. It's just a matter of considering what's going to work best for you and your pet. In most cases, regardless of the form that it comes in, the ingredients are going to be fairly similar if we're talking about the same brand. So are joint supplements safe? The big answer is yes. Joint supplements are made to be given every day for the life of your pet, and so they're formulated to be safe in terms of the ingredients that are chosen and the levels of those ingredients. And they're not only safe to give every day for the long term, but they're also intended to be given with other supplements and medications, because it's unlikely that your pet is only going to have to be on a joint supplement for his or her entire life. And so it can be given safely with preventatives for heartworm disease and for fleas and ticks. It can be given with skin supplements or thyroid supplements if you have a hypothyroid pet. And it can be given with even medications like non-steroidal anti-inflammatories such as Rimadyl, or pain medications like Tramadol. As long as your veterinarian says it's okay to mix, in most cases you're not going to have a problem. In fact, I've never had a serious complication with the use of a joint supplement. The only thing I'll see sometimes is the occasional bout of stomach upset, vomiting, or diarrhea. And in more cases than not, that's when a client tries to use a human formulation for their pet rather than one specifically made for dogs. The ingredients in a human form of joint supplement are often identical, sometimes even higher quality than you would find in a dog brand. But the levels can be off, and just the fact that they are typically tablets or capsules rather than a chewable or something that is more palatable or easy to handle for a dog, that tends to be the limiting factor, whether they can handle that. And so I do recommend the Canine brand because if you find the right brand and one that you've researched and that your pet likes, they tend to do much better with it for the long term. So how do joint supplements work? Supplements are not the same as drugs and medications. Drugs and medications are something we're giving to directly impact the body right now. When I have a dog with a bladder infection, I want to put him or her on an antibiotic and see an improvement within 48 hours. If I don't, I'm going to start questioning, what's going on here, and do I have to change my plan? That's not the case with supplements. Supplements are like vitamins. we're basically giving the body something so that it can help itself function more appropriately. We're not looking to directly impact it like we would be with a drug or a medication. We're looking to just support it and allow it to support itself and function more appropriately. And so we don't see an improvement overnight or even within a week or two. With joint supplements, we typically recommend 4 to 6 weeks of a trial before saying whether it's working or not, and then deciding do we have to do a different brand or different trial there. And so when we're talking about joint supplements, they basically provide the body with the raw materials that it needs for the joints to function optimally. And so the joint supplements help support the articular joint cartilage. The supplements help strengthen the cells within the soft tissue of the joints. Those are the joint capsule, the ligaments, and the tendons. Joint supplements help thicken the joint fluid and make it more viscous and lubricating. And then the supplements will often contain ingredients like antioxidants and immune boosters to add a little something extra. Who should receive joint supplements? Obviously, every pet who is already dealing with arthritis should be on a joint supplement. Most will even agree that pets who are prone to arthritis in the future should be on a joint supplement. And that could be not just a large or giant breed dog in general from all the weight that they're carrying around and the stress on the joints, but breeds that are genetically programmed to develop a particular problem, such as a patient who may be prone to hip dysplasia, or a breed who may be prone to elbow dysplasia, such as a Bernese Mountain Dog. These supplements may help ward off that problem, and if and when it does occur, help deal with it by already having those ingredients on board so that the body can help minimize the impact on the joints. In my opinion, all dogs should be on a joint supplement, and for that matter, all cats as well. The joint supplement is there to help a joint function more appropriately. It's not to help a diseased joint function more appropriately. It's there to help all joints function more appropriately. And so why choose which dog is going to get it or wait till a certain time to start using it? We don't know who is going to develop arthritis. We have an idea that one may be more likely than another, but I've seen plenty of 20-pound dogs with very serious hip dysplasia. I've seen cats with hip dysplasia and ruptured cruciate ligaments. You just never know when it's going to happen. And so when you're dealing with something as safe as a joint supplement, taking the cost, financial cost out of it, there's really no reason not to use it if there is the potential benefit down the road. So when we do choose a joint supplement, which ingredients are most important? These are the most typical ingredients that we'll see. Glucosamine, chondroitin sulfate, MSM, hyaluronic acid, creatine monohydrate, and then you have the omega fatty acids, the antioxidants, the immune boosters, and even some others that are a little bit more obscure and less ubiquitous. So glucosamine. Glucosamine is basically a building block of articular cartilage. It aids in the development and the maintenance of the articular joint cartilage, and it helps keep the joint fluid healthy and viscous. So it helps both the cartilage and the fluid of the joint. So it's a big player when it comes to joint supplement. And while it is normally produced in the body, it decreases in amount over time with age. And as that amount decreases, its benefits decrease, and over time you'll have deterioration of joint cartilage as a result of the lesser amounts. And so supplementing that can help not only prevent that from happening, but keep the joint even healthier. And while no supplement has been 100% proven to do a particular action that it said, supplements are not as tested and studied as drugs and medications. While that's not nothing's proven, there have been so many years of clinical evidence for glucosamine's use and the benefits of it that it's fairly understood that glucosamine is definitely a justifiable ingredient when it comes to joint supplements, and one that you definitely want to have present. And when we look at the actual ingredients, glucosamine sulfate or glucosamine hydrochloride will do. They're essentially identical clinically. Chondroitin sulfate. Chondroitin sulfate and glucosamine used to be the two that were in all joint supplements when they first kind of came out and became popular. And when you see chondroitin, you'll likely see glucosamine. But there are supplements out there where the vice versa is not true. There are many supplements where there is glucosamine without chondroitin. I prefer to have the two together. They not only are very similar, they're both produced naturally in the body, they both decrease over time, and supplemental administration can be beneficial. They also function similarly. They both aid in the cartilage development and maintenance. They both assist in lubricating the joints. But in addition to those benefits, chondroitin also has an effect on counteracting the enzymes that can damage joints over time. And so it's an extra benefit that I like to have in the supplement that I choose. It's derived from animal cartilage, the chondroitin that's within the supplements that we use. And while there's a lot of talk that shark cartilage is the best or this and that, there's, as far as I know, no evidence that any one cartilage source is better than the others. They may come from cows or chickens or sharks or whales, and as far as I know at this point, they're all fairly equal. MSM was kind of the third new kid on the block after glucosamine and chondroitin came out and became popular. MSM started being added in, and there have definitely been a lot of positive reports as far as the benefits of MSM. It comes from ocean seaweed known as kelp, and it's an organic source of sulfur, and it's involved in the chemical bonds that occur within the soft tissue of the joints. Okay, and so, long story short, the main benefits of MSM that we're looking for is that it reduces inflammation and therefore reduces pain by the actions it has on the soft tissue within the joint. And in the process, that also inhibits scar tissue development. And so the constriction and the tightening of the joint that can occur when scar tissue occurs is minimized. And so your pet's mobility over time is improved by not having that constriction and shrinking down of those joint capsules as the inflamed tissues scar up and cause problems over time. So that's definitely one that I like to have as well. Hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is another one that's naturally produced in the body but decreases over time. And its main function, its main benefit is on the joint fluid. It increases the joint fluid's viscosity and therefore leads to less friction, and that less friction over time leads to decreased progression of arthritis. And in addition to helping thicken the joint fluid, it also keeps the joint cartilage nice and resilient and nice and spongy. Every time your pet steps down, that joint fluid is pushed into the joint cartilage, and the nutrients that are within the joint fluid help nourish that joint cartilage. And hyaluronic acid can help with that, and as well as helping with the soft tissue of the joint capsule there. The only problem is there is some evidence that oral hyaluronic acid that's in oral supplements isn't as beneficial as injectable hyaluronic acid. And I tend to agree with that. I haven't seen a huge difference between joint supplements that do or do not have hyaluronic acid in them, but I do have many clients and patients who swear by, well, I guess my patients don't swear by it, but my clients who swear by injectable hyaluronic acid and say that it's made a huge difference for their pets. So that's definitely something to talk to your veterinarian about, is that injectable hyaluronic acid if the oral supplements and oral medications aren't doing the job for your pet. But when it comes to a joint supplement, oral joint supplement, maybe your decision shouldn't be based on whether hyaluronic acid is in it or not. It's not going to hurt, and if it's there, great. But I don't know that I would choose it over another one if there were another ingredient that had to be left out as a result. And unfortunately, that's the case with these supplements. None of them have everything in them, and the combinations are never exactly what you want, and so you do tend to have to take one and leave another, or leave one and take another, and try to compromise in terms of what exactly you'd like in each supplement that you get, in the supplement that you give. Creatine monohydrate, definitely one I like to have in my supplements. It's produced naturally in the body and found in red meat and fish, and it doesn't directly impact the joint, but it does impact it secondarily. What it does is it aids in the production of ATP, which is a source of energy that the cells of the body use. And so when those cells, in this case the muscle cells, have more ATP and better functioning ATP, the muscle cells will be stronger. Their endurance will be improved, and over time this will lead to increased growth and increased muscle strength. And that will help the joints by not only making it easier for your pet to get up and down and move around, and that helps keep the joints mobile and nice and loose, but it also limits injuries because your pet has better control and better ability to get around without support, or without as much of a concern for slipping or falling or splaying and having the issues that go there. So muscle wasting is a huge problem in arthritic patients, and this is really the one thing that can help directly impact that muscle loss, and is definitely something to try to find in a supplement that you're going to use for your pet. They're in humans, a lot of these muscle guys will take huge doses of creatine, and it has been associated with causing some problems with the kidneys or otherwise with humans, and so that's of course carried over to concern with pets, but we don't use anywhere near the levels that humans use when it comes to where we've seen those side effects. So that's not something I worry about. If it's something you're worried about, you can look into it further or avoid it altogether. But with the levels we're talking about, there's been no evidence of side effects or complications, only benefits. Omega fatty acids. Omega fatty acids are like super supplement. I love them. I recommend them for everybody. They reduce inflammation not only within the joints, but in every system of the body, especially the joints and the skin. But the levels of fatty acids that are included in joint supplements are so low that they really don't do anything. And so I don't make any decision for a joint supplement based upon its omega fatty acid levels. I actually recommend a separate fatty acid supplement for every dog and cat of every age, of every size, because it is such a great thing that we can provide our pets with, that there's really no reason not to use them. They're very inexpensive, they're very safe, and they can help in so many different ways. And so don't worry about them when it comes to joint supplements, but get your pet on one separately to help with everything, including the joints. And you can check out a separate video on that. Antioxidants. Again, a lot of these joint supplements have antioxidants in them that can help fight the free radicals, which are substances that cause damage to the cells of the body, in this case in the joint, but everywhere as well. Examples of antioxidants include vitamins like vitamin C and E. Zinc is an antioxidant. Then you have some of these more holistic ingredients, quercetin and yucca and citrus bioflavonoids. The weirder the name, the more likely it is to be an antioxidant. And there are a ton of them that that joint supplement manufacturers will put in there. Most of them haven't been proven, and a lot of them come and go. But again, as long as they're not going to cause damage to our pets in any way, and there's been no evidence of that, it's hard to say that we shouldn't use them if they're in there in addition to the things that we really want. And so if you find a supplement that your pet likes and it has the ingredients you want, and there also happen to be free radicals, I'm all for it. Vitamin C, incidentally, a lot of people think vitamin C is critical for your pets. They hear about it. People can't make vitamin C themselves, so we have to get it in our diets. Pets can make, dogs at least, and cats can make vitamin C themselves, and so they don't need supplemental vitamin C. But because it's a water-soluble vitamin, it can be beneficial to give added amounts of it in times of need, and that can be even just from dealing with arthritis on a daily basis or when dealing with a particular illness. So don't get so hung up on vitamin C the same way you would with us, because we can't make it. But again, if it's there, it can only help. Immune boosters. They're, again, like the like the antioxidants. There are a ton of ingredients, typically strange sounding names and things you've never heard of, that are supposed to boost the immune system of the joints and help the joints function more appropriately. And again, I treat those as, maybe I shouldn't, but I treat those as an extra, only because, again, they haven't been proven to function or to benefit the pets as much as the glucosamine and chondroitin and all those have. And again, supplements, there's always going to be a question as to whether it's really going to do the job or do what you want. But these are more new kids on the block. They're not, they haven't been around for a long time, and until they've been around longer, where we can have more confidence in their benefits, I don't make any direct decisions based upon any one individual ingredient in this category. And the same goes for these miscellaneous ingredients, ASUs, which are avocado and soybean unsaponifiables. Those are in that's an ingredient in Dasequin, which is one of my favorite joint supplements, which we'll get to. And that's a proprietary blend that is only within Dasequin and Dasequin with MSM. And I have seen great response to those brands, and so I can't say that it's not this that's causing it. I don't know, and again, it hasn't been proven that that's the case, but I do love Dasequin, and that's where ASUs are found. Manganese is another one. It's required for cartilage production. That's in a lot of joint supplements. White willow bark has anti-inflammatory actions. Mussels, there's a lot of talk of green-lipped mussels and other various mussels, and these contain glycosaminoglycans, like glucosamine type ingredients that are the building blocks of cartilage, okay? More of a natural form of those. And so if you have some of these ingredients in your supplement, or you have one in particular that you want to go after, there's definitely some benefit to them, according to many people. Now, brands of joint supplements, this is where it gets crazy, because there are hundreds and hundreds of companies that make joint supplements. These are just some of the bigger companies. Cosequin is made by a company called Nutramax. When it comes to Cosequin alone, there's standard Cosequin, there's Cosequin DS double strength, there's Cosequin DS with MSM. Dasequin is also made by Nutramax. Then there's Dasequin standard, there's Dasequin with MSM. There's Glycoflex. There's Glycoflex 1, 2, and 3. 3 separate formulations. There's Synovi G3, Synovi G4, Missing Link, all of these. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but every one has a different combination of ingredients and different levels of those ingredients. And you need to take into consideration all of those things, as well as the form that they come in and the price when you're dealing with making a decision on which one to use. And so, which one do you choose? And again, there's different factors you have to consider, 4 of them being the most important. The ingredients are the most important. And like I mentioned earlier, you're not going to get every ingredient that you want. So you have to pick and choose the biggest and the best ones that you really have your heart set on, and then hope that the rest fall into place. Palatability. A lot of dogs will take a treat that you give them today, tomorrow, the next day, and then they'll turn their nose up at it. It's not uncommon to spend $40 on a bottle of chewable tablets, and then after 3 of them, your pet doesn't want them anymore, and then you have to try another one. And so a lot of money can be lost doing this. I wish there was some type of co-op where you could try these out beforehand, but unfortunately there isn't. That said, some companies, especially Phycox, which is a brand we'll cover in a minute, they do have sample bottles that are either very cheap or even free, depending on the promotion that they're running. And those can at least let you see if your pet's going to be interested in them before you spend a lot of money on a full bottle. And so you have to consider palatability both in the short term and the long term. Formulation we went over earlier: hard chews, soft chews, capsules, granules, powders, liquids. And then finally, but maybe most important in some cases, is the cost. These can be extremely expensive when you consider that you're going to be using them every day for the rest of your pet's life, and you need to consider that. That said, don't necessarily go by a pill-to-pill basis, because some you require 4 or even 8 chewables a day, whereas others may be half or 1 for the same size dog. And so look at the dosage and the number of capsules or tablets or whatever it is before you make your decision. So let's go over my top 3 joint supplements. If I were going to put one of my patients on a joint supplement, these are the first 3 I would choose. And they all have different benefits. They all have some drawbacks, but I would be happy putting any of my patients on any of these. So Sanofi G4. The main reason I like that is that bottom one. It's very affordable. It's probably half the price for your average dog, depending on the dose and what your exact needs are, as compared to the other 2 that we're going to go over here. And so it's very nice that way, because it can be the limiting factor between using a supplement and not using a supplement for a particular patient, because not everybody can afford $80 a month on joint supplements for their pets, and that's certainly understandable. So Sanofi G4 soft chews used to be Sanofi G3, which at this point is still available. I'm not sure they will continue to be available, but all they did was change a couple little things around with the fatty acids and add a couple immune boosters and antioxidants. The changes weren't really that dramatic. But dogs tend to like the taste of Sanofi G4. They have a very good lineup of ingredients, and it does have glucosamine, has MSM, has the hyaluronic acid, which again, you can give or take, in my opinion. Creatine monohydrate, which I love, helps the muscle building. And again, various antioxidants and immune boosters. Why is this not number 1? Doesn't have chondroitin sulfate. I do prefer to have chondroitin sulfate. If it had that, it would be my number 1 choice. Number 2, Phycox Max. There's Phycox 1, there's Phycox Max, okay? Max has a little bit extra, and the nice part about either of them, 1 or Max, is that they also come in a hypoallergenic formula. That's what the HA there is. So, again, they taste great, at least according to my patients, they do. I've never tried them. They're a reasonable cost. They're more expensive than the G4, but you get what you pay for when it comes to some of these ingredients. And also, this is one where you tend to be able to get by with a fewer number of chewable tablets on a daily basis. Some dogs can get by with a half or 1 of these tablets a day, so you can stretch a bottle a lot farther. Again, they're available in a hypoallergenic formula. That's what the HA is, and I prefer the Max over the 1 just because it has a little bit extra. And this has the glucosamine, it has the MSM, has the creatine for the muscle building, and then it has a specific blend that is theirs alone, a proprietary blend of antioxidants, immune boosters, and anti-inflammatory ingredients. And this is a newer brand, and I have seen great response with this. But the reason I don't recommend it as my number 1 choice, no chondroitin sulfate. Again, I prefer that. Doesn't mean it's going to make the difference in your pet, but I like to use that where I can. So, number 1 is Dasaquin with MSM. Dasaquin with MSM, there's also Dasaquin without MSM. This is made by Nutramax, which is who made Cosequin. Cosequin was like the first joint supplement that ever came out and got popular with dogs, and it's still around and still a great choice. And very, very economical. Cosequin DS, double strength Cosequin DS is a great option, very affordable. But I choose the Dasaquin with MSM because it adds a little bit extra. Okay, so like the other two choices, it's very palatable, comes in hard and soft chews, and my patients have liked both of them. It has great ingredients in that it has glucosamine. It does have the chondroitin sulfate, that's why it's my number one. It has the MSM, and it has those ASUs, the avocado and soybean unsaponifiables, and which is a proprietary blend of theirs. And I've seen better response to Dasequin than any other brand in my experience. And so this is my top choice. It's also available for cats, though it doesn't have MSM. That's okay. It works great for cats as well. Great for cats as well. But it is the most expensive in most cases because it's not only costly per bag, but you tend to have to give a fuller dose to get the long-term benefits of it. With any of these, when you read the ingredients, you're going to give a double dose for the first month or so, and then you're going to cut down after that to half of that amount. And then from there, you can kind of play with it and see, can you get even lower? Because you're going to be using these for the long term and they are going to be costly over time, the lower you can get by with, the better. But you have to do so slowly because they adjust very slowly and gradually to the dosage. You don't want to cut down the dose any more than once a month. And so I would take it from the full dose for what they call the loading phase to the maintenance phase. And then after a couple months on that, you may want to try cutting down, by a quarter or a half and see how things go. And then, kind of go from there. If cost is a concern. If it's not, keep them at the standard dose. Some people choose to keep them at the loading dose, the double dose, for the long term. You're not going to overdose these medications, and so there's no reason to cut them down medically. It's more just that A, they may not need as much, and B, you'll get more for your money. The bottom line is choose something to give your pet when it comes to a joint supplement. I'd rather you use a generic form of human joint supplement for one of my patients than give them nothing at all if they're a pet that I think is really in need of joint supplement. And again, I want every pet on it, but if I see a pet that really needs to be on it, should be on it, I'm happy with anything as long as it doesn't upset their stomach or cause any problems there. So talk to your veterinarian, choose a brand together, decide on the form of administration, capsules, tablets, liquids, and then get started today. The sooner you start, the more benefit you're going to have. It's going to have for your pet. If you wait until the arthritis is severe, you're not going to see a significant response to these things. But if you start before the arthritis occurs or as early as possible, that's where you're really going to have the most potential for benefit. And I have all of these things in our store. We have two stores. We have our medical store, which is this here, our Vet's First Choice store, with everything supplement and something that we would sell to our patients at a visit to help with their health. That's the website there, and there's also a link to it on every page of our website. And then we also have our Amazon A store, which you can link to from our website as well. And that has not only these supplements also, but it has other fun stuff, beds and cages and toys and things like that. I hate calling them cages, crates, toys, and right now, a lot of Christmas gifts, both for pets and for pet owners, because it's almost Christmas time here. So you can link to the store for the joint supplements right here from that link right there, or you can link from any page on our website for your joint supplements. To learn more about joint disease in dogs in general, I have an Amazon ebook out there that's been out there for a while, and a lot of people have said it's helped them understand what their pet is going through and what their pet needs. You can check it out there. Go to Amazon and just search arthritis in dogs, and it'll come up, or search my name. Just Shokoff alone will bring it up because there's only me and one other out there, or you can just plug this link into your browser there and go right directly from there. I think it's $4.99, and it's well worth the money just for the pictures of all the nice dogs that are in it. All right, so good luck with everything. I hope this helped, and if you need anything at all, please let us know. You can contact us by mail, by phone, go to our website, email us, sign up for our newsletter, whatever you like. All right, good luck.